right, so I hope you did pay attention to the skin color that we talked about last time. See, this is subtle. If you have questions or you haven't been that good in noticing this, it's just a matter of starting to pay attention to very subtle cues. You're noticing this anyway. I promise you, you notice this unconsciously. So when you talk to people, tell me if you've never had the experience of you're talking, and despite them nodding and saying, yeah, maybe with a smile on their face, you had that feeling that they're not with you. They are inside their heads thinking of something else. Now, how did you know? And you say, yeah, I get a gut feeling. Yeah, that gut feeling is just two words expressing actually things that you observe already at the unconscious level. So I hope the observation with the skin color from dark to light and vice versa, you have started to spot it, and if you practiced, maybe you have already become really good. So today I want to share with you the next thing to pay attention to. And that's called skin tonus, which is simply the tone of the muscles underneath the skin. Okay? So obviously the muscles could be tense. Yeah, when somebody is really tense, in the muscles themselves, reflect that tension in a way, and also or relax. That's the exactly opposite, or not necessarily for the whole face, because sometimes if you look at people, they have tension in half the face, like maybe one of their eyebrows goes up only, because you see people that are like this, right? Even a corner of their mouth goes, or maybe part of their cheek on one side or another is uneven. So how do you spot this? This is called skin tonus. How do you spot this? How can you notice whether there is tension? Again, I want to caution you, if there is tension, you're going to ask me, but what does it mean? Nothing in isolation. What do I mean by that? Well, sometimes people have the more tension in the muscles when they're happy, and sometimes when they're not happy. It means only when you connect it with a certain state, and then you go, when they're in this state, because this is what they're talking about, that's how their physiology looks like, and the behavior is ABC. Only then you can connect with something. Nothing means anything in isolation, yeah? So, skin tonus means the tone of the muscles underneath the skin, yeah? And one of the things you can look for is the shine on the face. So obviously, when the face is relaxed, the light reflecting the shine itself on the face will be different compared to with somebody that's the muscles are tense. It's simply the reflection of the light. But also, the shine also can show you whether a person the muscles are relaxed, and again, there is more blood flow. Even if it's a very, very thin layers of perspiration, and you may say, but what about people who wear makeup? Because sometimes people have, pretty thick layers of makeup, and you can see this. I promise you, even through the makeup, the shine on the face is visible. Unless they just powder the face, just now, and it's just that very moment. Otherwise, there are subtle changes that you can notice even with makeup. However, if you say, I can notice this if a person wears makeup, I'm going to tell you other ways. But let's focus on skin tonus for the moment. So, again, the shine on the skin, because light reflects off the skin in different ways when the muscles are relaxed versus when the muscles are tense. If you look very carefully, I'm sure as I speak to you right now, as my face moves and I go through the explanation, although I'm a pretty constant, stable emotional state, I don't have variations. If I will tell you some stories, probably I will get into the stories and my face shine will change. But you can always notice the difference in lightness, bounce of light, as it bounces off the face. Now I'm going to give you another one, because also when you look at the skin, the tonus, the tone of the muscle underneath the skin, you also look, and I hinted at it as I began, to the symmetry versus asymmetry. So symmetrical versus the middle line, right? Now, Most of our faces are not symmetrical to begin with, and that's just normal for people. Yeah, maybe an eye is a tiny little bit smaller than the other, or maybe a part of the cheek is fuller than the other, or these are things that are happen normally with people. However, if you remember, in the previous module, I talked to you about the issue of comparing, called calibration. So you compare this, take a snapshot now, and then take a snapshot again, and you compare the two. That's how you will know the difference. In this snapshot here, the face was relaxed and it was pretty even, and the corners of the mouth were pretty even, and the eyes were open the same way. While we did the second one, maybe you notice something like this, right? I'm trying to pull a face here. You get what I mean? So you begin to notice this with people, because it's not as difficult as you think. You just didn't pay attention to it before. Now, I'm going to show you another one here. So this is about the face. I'm going to show you now what to pay attention to, which is so out of people's awareness, is not even funny. And that's called breathing. How people breathe. Now, how many times do you pay attention to your breathing? Unless you do breathing exercises and you do yoga techniques based on breathing and all this. In general, how much do you pay attention to your breathing throughout the day? Or let me see, how am I breathing? Am I breathing low in my tummy, or am I breathing in the middle of my chest, or is my breathing fast or slow? How is it? So that's very, very important, because breathing can change rate, meaning it could become faster or slower, and also location. Location, up in the chest, in the middle of the chest, or low in the belly. Now, and you'll say, yeah, when people breathe in the belly, they are always this way or the other way. Again, I caution you, do not assign meaning yet. Do not assign meaning yet. What does this mean? Nothing in isolation. So if you do me a favor now, just straighten your spine like this, yeah? Put your shoulders back, okay? And then put your hand right on top of your chest here. I'm trying not to cover my microphone, okay? And now try to breathe on the top of your lungs, because your lungs end up here, yeah? Just up here. You're going to notice that your hand moves. Now, if you move your hand in the middle of your chest and do the same thing, yeah? Do the same thing here. Now, this is the middle part of your lungs. And then put your hand lower on your belly, almost on your belly, below your rib cage, and try to breathe over there. Some people can't even do this. So, top of the chest, middle of the chest, lower part of the lungs, the bottom of the lungs, as it were, right down in your belly. Good. Now, how fast are you breathing? Some people breathe short breaths and very fast. Some people breathe longer breaths. Some people breathe slowly, and right in there you see the belly moving, and that's very relaxed. In fact, that's a type of breathing that, for those of you who practice types of breathing for relaxation, that's very good down in your belly and relaxing your diaphragm. Yeah, so can begin to pay attention to the shift in breathing. It's, if you manage to notice this, it's probably even more valuable. Yeah, probably even more valuable than the skin color and the skin tonus that we discussed before. Because some people who are trained, especially trained for the camera if you are online, or even trained in general, they have a poker face. Also, people who are most dissociated, they don't show emotions that much. And that's simply, dissociation versus association in emotional states. People are different. And so if you begin to know, although the breathing is very unconscious, even if people are trained to put a face and always have a smile and talk like this, and there are cultures around the world that do this all the time, their breathing is still not very conscious, because they can't talk to you. Pay attention to their face, pay attention, oh, maybe I better not breathe this way now, I not change. And the breathing changes from moment to moment as well, depending on the behavior and the emotional state that the person's in. So it's very, very easy to notice once you pay attention. So next exercise for you, if you've really try to notice the change in the color of the face. Now what you can do is to pay attention to the tonus, the skin tonus, and I said pay attention to the changes of the shine on the face as well as the symmetry, the vertical line, symmetry right to left or even up to down, but mostly right to left, and mostly the breathing. If you can notice the shifts and the changes in breathing, and as people change states and also change their behavior, boy, that's a great advantage, absolute advantage. Now, if you sit and wonder there, how would you use this? Did it ever happen to you to have a conversation with somebody and they were going on and on and on and on about something, and you wanted to finish the conversation 10 minutes ago because you have to run, you have something else to do, and it's a conversation that you don't really care about, maybe a subject that you don't really care about, but you want to be polite and nice and kind and not offend the other person, so you're politely listening to them going on and on and on and on, and you're bored to tears, and they don't notice. They don't notice that actually the conversation means nothing to you. I believe it did happen. And also, for instance, when people are confused, let's say you are trying to, let's not even take work. Although if you have employees in your small business, or you are a team manager as a leader of a team in any kind of shape, or you're working in a corporation, or you're talking to your boss, it's really, really important to notice, for instance, confusion. You say, but how would I notice confusion if they don't say anything? With your sensory acuity, the ability to observe these subtle differences, you will notice. And then you will be able to know exactly when they are confused. But you'll say, but Adriana, you just said that you can't assign meaning. You can say when they look like this and the skin color is like this and the skin tonus is like this, it's always equals confused, because it's not true for everybody. So when a person's confused, let's take confusion for example. When a person's confused, once you learn not only to observe skin color, skin tonus, and breathing, there are two more I want to share with you next time. You know now, they may even say, this doesn't make sense to me, and you notice that you not know that they are in a state of confusion. You connect all this with facial or body physiological changes. And then you know that every single time you see that set, then a person's confused, even if they don't say the words. So it requires a little bit of patience for you to begin to install this ability. But I promise you, if you do it for 1-2 days for each, take it 1-2 days for each. As I said, 1-2 days look only for the changes in skin color. Or 1-2 days is look only to begin to notice the change in shine or symmetry or asymmetry in the face. And then I would say take a couple, 3 days, maybe 3 good days when you pay attention only to breathing. Once you do this, you're gonna automatically, and when I say automatically, I mean unconsciously, going to know, but you will be also conscious of your observation, which before happened, but you couldn't realize it consciously. So good luck with noticing this, and I'll see you next time.